Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and today we're working on a 2006 Mazda 3 with a 2-liter engine. And today the issue with this is that we have a loose right front inner tie rod, and it's also it's rattling down the road as you are driving, and also on turns it's making a lot of knocking and clunking noises as you are driving down the road. And so I'm going to show you the right front wheel. It has a considerable amount of play in it, and so it's very loose. So I'm going to show you that. We are going to be doing the replacement of the inner and the outer tie rods because you need to take the outer tie rod off to access the inner tie rod, but we are just going to be replacing both of them. So even when the vehicle is on the ground, and even if you do a dry park test or a dry park check, you can shake the wheel, and I'm still able to feel the play and to hear the noise, the looseness in the inner tie rod. So with the vehicle in the air, you can see that there's quite a bit of play in this. You shake the wheel at 9 and 3, there's quite a bit of play. I already checked it off camera that it's the inner tie rod, and I believe that this is what is rattling around while driving down the road. I can hear it on the right front side. So we need to pull the wheel off. So today we are just going to be doing the right side. On the left side there's no play, and this customer does not want to keep this vehicle for too much longer, probably another like 6 months or something, because they want to get rid of it. This vehicle has roughly 331,000 kilometers on it, and so they just want to fix on what's broken so that they can just drive it for the time being. So I recommend both sides for the tie rods, because after that you will need to do a wheel alignment. It's best to replace the tie rods in pairs. So the first thing you need to do is to loosen up the jam nut. I believe it's a 22. I think on this one it's a 24 millimeter. On this one it's a 24 mil, so we need to crack this loose. I may need to go underneath the vehicle, because I don't have any leverage on the top side, so I have to go from the bottom. Just need to loosen this a tiny bit. The alignment is already a little bit off on this, so I'll try to put it back close enough, the same way as it was. You can just either you can mark it on where the jam nut is, or you can count the number of threads on the inner tie rod, or you can count the number of turns when you take the outer tie rod off. Regardless, you may get it close, but the alignment is still going to be off, so you will need to take it to an alignment shop to get the vehicle aligned after the repairs. So once that's loose, you can take out the cotter pin. On this one, it has a fancy style cotter pin. I'm not sure if we are going to be reusing this or using a brand new one. Usually it's not good to reuse cotter pins. You should always use a new one. So on this vehicle, the tie rod nut is a 13 millimeter on this. You can grab a hammer, you can hit it on the stud or on the knuckle itself, or you can use a tie rod puller on whatever works for you. It doesn't really matter. You can just hit it here if you want to shock the knuckle and to get it out. And the tie rod is out. So on this one, you can count the number of turns, and then we can put it in the same way you took it off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's roughly 22 turns on this. So now we have exposed the inner tie rod, and you can see and hear the play as you pull it. It's pretty loose on this. So we are going to remove the clamp for the inner tie rod boot. And to get that out of the way. And then there's another clamp, a fixed clamp on the inside here. We need to break it off in order to get it out. So on this vehicle, it's a bit hard to access, but I won't be able to show you, but there's a crimp on the side here. So you probably want to grab something and to break it, to break the crimp down. I think you can see it a bit here on where the loop is. You can put a screwdriver there and break it free. So probably place a screwdriver in between, and then you can push back on it. That's the easiest way to do it. So usually I place the screwdriver and I try to break the clamp, to pry back on the clamp to break it free, and then you should be able to get it out then. And then once you get it out, you have stretched out the clamp. You can just pry it off or something to get it out. And at the same time, you can pull back on the bellows boot to get it off. You need to turn the boot and to pull out. Just trying to pull back on this. So we're gonna spray some penetrating oil because the boot is stuck on there. Just I think you should push it in and then try to push it out to get it out. So now we're just going to push this back a little bit and use a pair of vice grip so I can get this jam nut off. Probably spray a little bit of the penetrating oil. I'm using an extended deep socket, 24 mil. And that's out. You can now take out the boot, the hose clamp, and the boot out. And so now with this boot, we're just going to be reusing it. There's no holes or tears in it, and the clamp here is not reusable, so you need to use a new clamp. So I'm just using the special inner tie rod tool. It's by Lyle, the Master Inner Tie Rod Toolkit. They do have different variations of inner tie rod tools, and like a universal one, like the universal, the U-clamp stuff. And they also have one that you just insert it, and it takes on the shape of the hex of the tie rod, and it grips as you as you loosen or tighten it up. So anyhow, the one I'm using is 1 3/16 inch. I'm just hoping that is going to work. So I placed it on the hex of the inner tie rod on the vehicle, and I just need to insert the tool and lock it in to get it out. So we're going to see if this works. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we have to see. Once we get it in, we'll try to lock it. You need to grab a So once we lock it in place, we need to grab a small extension, a half drive ratchet, see if we can get this loose. And now it's loose. You can see on how loose the tie rod is. You can probably play some jingle bells with this. So you can see how loose the tie rod is, the inner tie rod. So now compare the old and the new part. Make sure the threads and everything are exactly the same. They have the protective sleeve so that the threads don't get damaged during a shipment. Just make sure that the length and everything is the same on this. Everything seemed like it's the same, so I think we're all good to go. It's probably the same hex size. This one is 1 and 3/16 that I'm using the adapter. Since this customer notified me at the last notice, the last moment, I had to get parts from from which I deal locally at the part store, from Part Source. So I'm just using the OE Plus Pro Series parts. I believe that Dorman that they make these parts, and so anyhow, I haven't used these parts for a long term, but I think that they're okay for now. This customer is only going to keep this vehicle for 6 months, so I think it'll be okay to use these parts. This is actually a premium line part according to Part Source, so that's why I'm going to be putting in the part number for the inner tie rod here. So on this particular part, I don't see any washers or anything, but what you want to do is to apply some form of thread locker on the threads, so that the inner tie rod does not back out, so that the threads don't back out during driving, because this is a safety component. So you want to use some form of thread locker. I have the blue, the medium strength Permatex thread locker. You can either use blue or red or any form of thread locker. You want to use something for safety, because this is a high vibration component, so you want to make sure you use some form of thread locker for safety. So we are going to put a little bit of the blue thread locker on this. Just like that. So before we install a new inner tie rod, I just want to wipe down the rack a little bit, any dirt or debris inside, if there's any. And then install the inner tie rod now onto the steering rack, all the way by hand first before you tighten it. Install the 1 3/16 adapter. And then install the tool, inner tie rod tool, while holding the adapter so that it doesn't fall out. And then lock it into place, and then we are going to torque it after that. So we're just going to tighten it a little bit, and then we are going to torque it. This is not in all the way. And I'm going to get a torque wrench to torque it. So on this vehicle, I didn't find any mention of the torque specs for the inner tie rod. So I'll probably have to go based on experience. But I think usually between maybe like 50 to 60 foot-pounds is probably okay on this, on these types of vehicles. I've seen somewhere online, somebody said anywhere between 50 and 72. I couldn't find a definitive torque specs. I checked on Identifix and all data, and I also have a Haynes manual for the 2004 to 2009, I believe, Mazda 3, and it does not show the specified torque specs. So for now, I'm just going to torque it to 50 foot-pounds, and I think that should be okay. We'll see 50 or 60, and then that's fine. We do have the thread locker as well in place. So anyways, we'll torque it now. I just torqued it to 50. I'll probably torque it to 60, and then I'm happy with that. Just trying to line this up. So I'm just trying to line it up now. I'm probably going to torque it to 60 now, and I think that's okay. So I torqued it to 60 foot-pounds, and I believe that should be more than enough, or just enough. And we also added the thread locker, so this inner tie rod is not going anywhere. So the Haynes manual I've had for years. I barely used it since 2004 through 2011. So when you have a look under steering, I don't see anywhere where it says inner tie rod. This is the mounting bolts for the rack and pinion, also called the steering gear. So that's not that. And the outer tie rod end to the steering knuckle is 35. On Identifix, all data says 37, but we'll torque it at the very end to 35, and that's good. So now we're just going to clean the bellows boot. It's a little dirty. I didn't see any fluid leaking from inside the rack, so I think the power steering rack is probably okay. Just want to get any dirt or debris that may be inside here. So I'm going to let this air dry before we install this back. So now before you install the bellows boot, you want to put some grease around here, so that way when you install the boot, it goes in easily. And also when the person does the wheel alignment, the boot won't get twisted as you are doing the adjustments. So I installed a narrow style clamp. I will post the part number for that on the screen. And so I just I put it in slightly loose. So I'm just going to see on which way I'm going to put it to tighten it down afterwards. Either I may be able to tighten it over here or from underneath the vehicle. So I'm going to have to see on which way works. So we are going to install the boot now. Get it in all the way. Just need to line up the bellows boot from inside. So as you can see, I adjusted the clamp off camera so I can tighten it up from underneath the vehicle as I'm holding the bellows boot. I'm pushing it inward so that it lines up all the way and doesn't come off as I'm trying to tighten up the boot. And I can just tighten it up from here. You want to tighten down the clamp until it stops. And then if you want, you can cut off the excess for the clamp. If you want, you can cut off the excess here if you need to. You don't have to, but only if you need to. So once it's tight, just make sure it's lined up and in all the way, and then you should be good to go for that one. So one other thing I forgot to mention is that I adjusted the clamp off camera after I was finished. Good. It's a lot easier to access than underneath the vehicle. So I just had to adjust the clamp a little bit because it was not straight. It was slightly on an angle. So I adjusted the clamp. So now I still need to fix the bellows boot because this piece here is not completely out to the inside portion. So anyhow, we are going to reinstall that clamp that we took off earlier. It's okay to reuse this spring style clamp. Install it back in here. And what we are going to do next is to put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads before we install the lock nut or the jam nut. So we're going to install the jam nut, and we counted close to 22 turns. So the new jam nut is 27 now. It's no longer a 24 like the old one. So it's a different size. So you'll need a 27. So earlier, before you take off the inner tie rod, you can always mark it and compare on where the threads are, and just put it back the same way. So this is the part number for the clamps. It's a European style clamps. That's what they call it. This one is a bit is larger than what was needed for the application, but that's all I have for the thin style, the narrow style clamps, because the standard warm gear clamps are a little bit too thick to go on to the end of the bellows boot. You'll be needing a 6mm socket to tighten or loosen these clamps. So off camera, I fixed the bellows boot. I just had to push it back all the way in and then pull it out, and then I came out the way it's supposed to. And alternatively, you can pull on the inner, pull it out or in to fix it. So anyhow, earlier I had some issues with parts. I thought that maybe the outer tie rod end, it was not the correct one, because the stud and stuff is different, slightly different from the OEM one. So I'll see if this works either way. So I put some anti-seize inside. You can put grease or anti-seize or spray some fluid film or something to prevent rust. Anyhow, we counted 22 turns. So I may have to do some like minor adjustments afterwards. So we'll see on what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's 22 turns. If we need to adjust it later, I can probably do some moose ichrometer adjustment if possible, and seeing what happens. So we'll see if I can get this back in here now, all lined up. They told me it's the correct part, so I don't know. I usually don't like to use these style parts because I was in a pinch and the customer doesn't want to keep this vehicle for too long, so I install the jam nut. And the torque spec is 35 on this, and other sources have stated 37, so we'll just do 35. So on the new part, this is going to be a 17. We'll torque this to 35. That's 35. In case if you're not able to get the cotter pin through, then do not back off the castle nut. You want to tighten it a little bit further down until the opening shows up, and then install the cotter pin. So in this case, I'll have to turn it a bit more. It's perfectly fine to tighten it a tad bit more just to get the cotter pin in. It's not fully lined up exactly just yet. There you go. And the cotter pin is too. It's not a good idea to reuse cotter pins, so always use a new one to be on the safe side. So that's that. And now we just need to tighten up the jam nut. I'm just doing some other services on this vehicle, changing oil and stuff. So now we're going to tighten up the jam nut. It's a 27, and I have a 27 wrench. So that's tight. So just make sure everything is tight, and then that's it. Reinstall the wheel, go for a road test, and you will need to take the vehicle to the alignment shop to have it aligned. And I believe that's going to be it for this one. So now after you're done, reinstall the wheel. I believe the torque spec is about 80 foot-pounds. So reinstall the wheel and recheck for play. And there's no more play because we fixed it. So now the inner and the outer tie rods have been replaced now. There's no more play, so it's all fixed. just go for a road test, and just to make sure that the rattling and the knocking noises have gone away, and then take the vehicle to the alignment shop to get the vehicle aligned, and then that's it. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day and take care.